fuck it, clarify all that shit, right? So at the bottom of the deck, you have the Chariot. So you focusing on having forward movement. You're focusing on overcoming any obstacles that get in your way, using your mind, your intellect, your force of will to be a warrior or have a warrior spirit towards your obstacles and challenges, and removing them and focusing on how to have progress. You may even be focusing on how to be more prudent, or you may be focusing on needing to be more patient. But also here with the Chariot, this is about self-control. This is about, trying to steer your destiny or steer circumstances. But this is also about being mindful not to lack discipline. And this is you focusing on arrival, getting to your destination. This is about you needing to have a clear focus, being mindful not to operate from a place where your energy is scattered, or where scattered energy is at play. And this may be you needing to focus on not losing direction or losing your way. But this is about you trying to overcome and have victory and forward movement and steer things, okay? Now, what's underneath that Chariot is you do have the Ace of Cups. So you may be trying to focus on a new opportunity, maybe a new creative project. With this Ace of Cups, you may be trying to gain an opportunity. Or this could be, something to do with love, a new love, all right? Or you may have a new passion or a new emotion is forming around something. For you, Scorpio. But you're trying to maintain control or make sure things don't get out of control. But you want forward movement. You want the victory. So this may also be needing to be mindful about, your arrogance, if that could be playing into this. Okay, because we do have hubris here. So this is about self, all about you. Okay, not really giving a fuck about nobody else but yourself. Well, somebody's that way with you. But where you're at the present is you do have the Knight of Wands and the Five of Pentacles. So at present, you've taken action. Okay, you've taken action. And that action was swift towards you addressing any issues around experiencing any financial lack or lacking in your resources. But you taking action to replenish what's been depleted or what was at a lack. This was you taking action to regain, to make changes in your circumstances, or taking action towards what needed to happen perhaps with your money, what needed to change with your money, or what needed to change in a situation, and you come out of the cold. This may be you taking action and not caring about nothing else but what it is that you need to see happen for yourself and what needs to be done or replenished or taken care of for you. You may be taking action towards how to make moves so that you can regain or build at present. But this is you taking action. The thing about the Knight of Wands that you want to be mindful of is whether or not you are being too hasty or reckless in your actions. And you want to be mindful to be solid on the choice that you're making and maybe stick with it, that you're not in and out with yourself. And if you're dealing with somebody that's in this energy of the Knight of Wands, be careful about whether or not this person is going to be back and forth or in and out with you, which could affect your ability to gain or to rebuild or to make changes where you feel changes are needed, because they may be someone who flakes out on you, or you can't count on, or they half-ass, or they do things in a hurry and causes mistakes. So this is you at present, though. Is this being your energy, Scorpio? This is you taking action to bring solutions and resolve any lack or any loss, and focusing on how to regain and make changes in your circumstances so you feel more secure and not feel ass out. And I feel that you've taken swift action and you were able to make those changes, because Your challenge here, or what's influencing you, is you got the Wheel of Fortune and the Two of Cups. So this is you focusing on making positive shifts and changes, or this is you trying to adapt to any shifts or changes that are happening to you that are either unexpected, or where you could be facing resistance, or there may be an issue around an opportunity, or you're trying to seize opportunities, or there could be turn of events, or just random shit go down, or this may be you trying to focus on having a turn with your luck for the better. But this is you focusing on your destiny and what it is that you need and what you want to do. And with the Two of Cups here, this could be in connection to a relationship, or this may be you finding emotional balance within yourself. But with this Two of Cups here, your challenge is, perhaps dealing with the changes or any resistance that you could be dealing with, or the unexpected, or the challenge of how to create positive shifts and changes as it has to do with the connection you're involved in or dealing with. There could be some changes that are happening between you and another, or you or who you are in some sort of connection where, the challenge is trying to cope as you're trying to be a support or stay in agreement, or needing to change the agreement as a result of any of the changes unexpected or incurred by you or who you are dealing with. So at the root cause of this is you do have the Six of Cups and the Four of Pentacles. So with the Six of Cups and the Four of Pentacles, you may be involved with family, or, experiencing some nostalgia, or this could be you dealing with someone or something from the past. This could be having to do with your children. But this is about you focusing also on the solutions and coming up with a way to reconcile and resolve things for yourself, and that allows for a solution or resolution for who else or whoever else is involved. And this could be family or friend or specific connection. With the focus on stability, being secure, having things line up, having things, being on top of things, right? And this is about perhaps with money. Maybe there needed to be some compromise, or there's some emotional support that was being exchanged, or that was a focus where it's like you may have worked together with someone else or others, and you've been a support to each other to stay grounded, to stay stable and secure, and to not be stuck, and to do things that reconciled or brought solutions, or was able to have some sort of conclusions that was satisfactory for you and maybe for somebody else, or maybe just for you. Because again, we do have hubris here. So you're about self, or somebody's about self, or somebody in the ego. Okay? And so in the recent past, you do have the Empress and the Seeker. So in the recent past, this is either you or you were dealing with someone embodying the Empress energy that could have been your mother, your grandmother, or just somebody that could have been like a matriarch. Or this is you, but in the recent past, this was around the ability to seek out and find a way to be creative and imaginative at what you needed to build or create or prosper, or be able to have harmony either in your circumstances around your money. With the Empress here, this was you focusing on seeking ways to achieve success, to avoid stagnation or poverty, or this may have been an exchange of kindness, or you giving kindness or receiving kindness. Was you in the recent past being cognizant that growth needed to happen, and focusing on how to have that positive growth, how to have that abundance, how to nurture things, okay, with this energy in the recent past, and that you were either very capable or someone was capable towards that. And there was progress, there was growth, there was expansion, but very creative in building and holding shit down and keeping stuff up. And so at present, we did the present. Maybe I need to go back to that. I don't know. What's on your mind is the Three of Swords and the Seven of Pentacles. So you may have been disappointed within a three-party situation, or just disappointed, or you may have been experiencing some suffering, or with this Three of Swords, there could have been a breakdown of communication. But what's on your mind about that Three of Swords is, you're waiting for something. It's like you might be waiting to heal from a three-party situation, or a situation where there was a communication breakdown, or where you felt like you suffered, or you may have experienced some sort of separation or isolation around. And it could be having to do with someone or something from the past. Maybe you were in a relationship and that relationship is over, and you may have been thinking about that relationship, or hoping or waiting for some sort of reconciliation, or you may have been trying to focus on moving on, or you may be stuck with moving on and letting go from a hurt or pain or disappointment that you've suffered, and you were perhaps thinking about it, assessing it, focusing on it. This could be someone that was in this hubris energy, someone who was very selfish, someone that took you for granted, someone who played you, somebody who fucked you over, someone who had hurt you. And you may be struggling with how to move on from that shit, right? Because you felt played, right? You might have been cheated on. Or this is you focusing on how to heal and assessing and analyzing your shit, and seeing how you can invest, or what you need to do, or what else you need to do to heal from any circumstances where you feel you may be suffering, because there may be a problem with your plans, or a problem with as it has to do with you interacting or dealing with others, and it having some impact on your success in return on the things that you're working on doing or trying to have achieved. And this again could be around either family, or this could be someone in specific, someone from the past, or this could be, with this Six of Cups, this could be your children, or this could just be, what's going on in you. Now in the future though, you do have the Two of Wands and the Two of Pentacles. So this is you planning, because you are either trying to have balance or trying to make changes. Or this may be you making a decision and acting on it that brings about some balance or bring about some change. But the focus is your stability and balance here. Okay, planning on and maintaining your balance. Now, your likely outcome that is also can be used as your advice is you do have the Eight of Cups and the Devil. So your outcome here is you moving on. You're moving on from stagnant energy. You're moving on from toxic energy. You're moving on from being stuck. You're moving on from toxic people, toxic circumstances. You're moving on from any restrictions or limitations. Because this is about being emotionally unfulfilled by what's not serving you, after putting in feelings and emotions and energy into it and not seeing satisfaction or fulfillment by it. And so this is you looking at that and moving on. Or this may be you needing to move on because it's causing you to be stuck or feel stagnant. Or, this may be you moving on from obligations. Or this may be you moving on from adversities that you're dealing with, any oppression, or where you may have felt held up. But this is you moving on from it in the future. Or there's a need to focus on moving on from what that's serving you, or from what has caused you to either be stuck in your mind or stuck in your circumstances by. Okay? So, let's take a look at what your guidance is, Scorpio. Now, some of you're trying to heal from a relationship from somebody who was a fucking jerk, who was a piece of shit. Others of you focusing on your self-preservation by any means necessary. But with hubris here, this is about the ego. This is about self. Maybe you're focused on self. And, you know, you're more into that than anything else. And, you know, it might be becoming a little unbalanced. I don't know. Or maybe you've come to a place where that's needed. You just got to be about yourself. Or, you know, you might be focusing on somebody that, you know, was about themselves. And it might be taking you out of balance emotionally, or you trying to overcome how you feel about that shit. And the way you are overcoming that is either you are recognizing and acknowledge that that person was selfish and a piece of shit and was only about themselves, and you're assessing and getting more of an understanding of that. Or, you know, this is about you feeling like, as a result of what happened to you, that you got to be more about yourself than you have been, so that you can avoid that. But, you know, just be careful not to take that in the shadowy space, because that feels like that's where it is. Okay. So, or you may be letting go of residual energy. Oh, all right, we got a card that came out for you, Scorpio, and it hit the floor. We're going to take it. So, wow. You got forgive yourself. Identify one area of your own life where you're angry at yourself, or where you've yet to forgive something you've done. Healing requires forgiving oneself as well as others. The goal here for you is to love yourself enough to heal. Look at that. Forgive yourself. If you've been dealing with trying to forgive somebody else, fuck that for now. Find a way to forgive yourself. You may have been mowing over the past, and, you know, you may feel angry or upset with yourself about how you could have done something better, or how you could have just the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, right? Because in the end, it left you, you know, hurt, right? Betrayed, fucked over. And you may be assessing that right now, and how so much has changed. And the challenge of trying to shift away from a connection that was a desert anyway. Nothing was growing here. Look at that, Two of Cups. Nothing was growing there. And maybe you knew that. And maybe you just kept trying. And you might be mad at yourself that you did, or that it went on for as long as it had, or that you got stole on the way you did, or cheated on the way you did. And it's like you just being hard on yourself. But that is not serving you. Okay? It's okay to reflect on what happened, but not to where you are being critical of yourself. This is a time for you to be able to look at it and release it, and start by forgiving yourself. If forgiving who is involved in this happening is too hard to do, start there by forgiving yourself, and finding the release, and releasing yourself from, you know, where you are being critical or judgmental of yourself about. I hope these messages help. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And thanks for watching. Bye.